most part, he was home a lot more often. We were kind of getting into a groove that I don't think we had before. And now we were expecting our third kid. Then I find out it's going to be a boy. And I was through the roof excited. At around 7 months pregnant, this, I'ma just be forward with it because I don't know how else to describe her. This crusty, dusty, thirsty ass bitch that we worked with decides that she wants to invite him to a little get together that she's having for her party. Women's intuition is strong, you guys. I knew this bitch wasn't no good. I knew she wasn't shit. And I told him this. But of course, he didn't listen, which is fine. You know, he felt like he had his own judgment on things. He wasn't seeing the things that I was seeing. I get it. She gets upset that he invites me because naturally, as one would be when you have somebody come over and they invite the person that they're expecting a child with. Still can't believe that this girl was this. Now, I've got to say something. My partner, walking Adonis, okay? Everything glorious about how a man should look, that motherfucker got it. He do. I still to this day don't know why he was with somebody like me. No idea. But I know that every time he walks into a room, everybody is looking at him. So I understood why this chick was lusting after Mr. Adonis. Okay. What I didn't understand was how she could be so forward about her thirst. Okay. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to jump into that situation as soon as we get back. And then I'm going to discuss my very traumatic birth with Daxius and the times that are still ahead that I'm still experiencing today. Okay, so here we are in our final stretch. So Little Miss Thirst Bucket decided that, to make a long story short, and this is something I will probably go into depth for another episode because it's a good one. When it's not immediately happening to you, it's actually pretty funny. So long story short, this girl gets upset that I crashed the party, for lack of a better term. I just want to put this out there. If you know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a TikTok on it. But basically, if you are friends with somebody and you invite them somewhere and you are aware that they have a partner, you're kind of inviting their partner. Because if you don't, unless there is a very specific reason why you're not, and not liking them is not good enough, especially if you guys are opposite sex, that seems a little bit thirsty. Okay? So he invites me and, you know, we're having a good time. I'm trying to make the most of it, even though I cannot stand this hood booger. Okay? It ends up with him not feeling comfortable with how she's talking to me. And I want to preface this by saying he 100% went to bat for me. He 150% went to bat for me. We end up leaving. He's like, you know what? This ain't worth it. Let's go, Angie. And we start leaving. This cabrona goes running after him outside of the restaurant in full-blown tears about how he has ruined her day. And I can't help but sit there and laugh because I'm like, how is he ruining your day because he's leaving with me, the person who's carrying his child and has already given birth to his children and all that other wonderful committed stuff? And she's, you know, upset and her best friend is there and she's talking cash money shit. And I'm starting to get upset because I'm like, okay, you guys are really pushing this forward. Now, mind you, I'm 7 months pregnant. He's trying to push me behind him because I usually know when to be quiet, but that was a lie. I don't. So I instantly went into defense mode because normally in a situation where maybe, let's say 2 men are fighting, and I was the object of that fight, I would step back because I would let my man handle that. I'm not one of those women that would go face off with a man and then say, well, my boyfriend can't beat you up. No, I'm not like that. So that felt appropriate. Now that these women were coming at my man, it instantly felt like, this is my time to shine. Okay, this is my time to get at you because Mr. Adonis is a behemoth and you are a twig. He will kill you if you decide to really take on this man. I don't even think the both of you are enough. He's pushing me behind him and she's saying a bunch of stupid things. Now, the girl herself wasn't the object of my anger. It was her chicken-headed best friend. And chicken-headed best friend decides to leap like a tree frog over or around my partner and punch me in the face. My glasses go flying. I stumble back a bit. Somebody was there to kind of like stabilize me from falling over because my center of gravity was shit. And I felt it. My face was burning. And I'm like, oh, man. Instantly, my first instinct was wear my glasses because I cannot be running around here like Velma. This is just insult to injury. So I'm looking for my glasses. Another girl goes flying across the floor. My partner, he went to town. He got to business, okay? He takes this girl and he launches her into the hook and reel plastic statue that's right outside the thing. And everybody is on him, just trying to pull him back. It looked like citizens trying to contain the Hulk. And I'm trying to grab him by his hand and be like, let's go. Because with the layout of the mall, I can see that security is on their way up. There was like glass elevators and all that other stuff. I grab my glasses. We're holding hands. Our coworkers help us get a clean getaway. And we just walk out nice and calm, holding hands until we are far enough away from the mall to discuss this. That was the most exciting incident that happened throughout my pregnancy, and we were very concerned. He expressed to me later that the reason why he was so upset with me is because I really could have put myself in danger and we could have lost our son, which is all true. Things that I wasn't thinking of, but I was just, like, I ain't gonna go out like no bitch, I was instantly just like, I can't, I'm not gonna allow this to happen. So after that incident, the very next day was like the last day of work for everybody but the managers. And after that, we had maybe another week, and then that was done. Both him and I lost our jobs at about the same time. Not lost because, we'd been fired or something like that, but the census was over. It was already 2020. At the end of 2020, it went on longer than it was supposed to because of the pandemic. So we were in a position where we were about to have a third child. We were living in a 2-bedroom apartment. My father was living with us at the time, and we were now going to set up our bedroom in the living room because that was the only place where there was space. And we were now bringing a third kid into the mix. We were unemployed. It was the middle of a pandemic. Absolutely nobody was going to hire me at 7 months pregnant unless it was a work from home job, which we're now exploding due to the pandemic, when it was great because I had my degree, so I had more options. But it was rough. And so I applied for unemployment, and kid you not, unemployment did not come through for a year. Thank you, state of New York, for fucking me super hard, because due to that, I ended up surviving off of my credit cards to buy the things that were necessary for our impending child, the things that were, the house mortgage, the rent, the bills that came out of it. They started to pile up, and I was using my credit cards to pay for it all, to pay for our lifestyle, because now the supplemental part of unemployment, it wasn't working for him. That time was done. We had a lot of bills. we were living a very comfortable lifestyle working with the census, which was very foolish because we knew it was going to end at some point. But it just seemed like, I don't know why we didn't think that it would. We were in such a good place compared to when our oldest daughter was born, that, you know, we wanted to live the way that we wanted to live. And that wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It just, when push came to shove, when unemployment didn't go through, which was something that we were banking on because I was supposed to get the max, it didn't come through. And there were so many mistakes and so many everything. And that added a lot to stress levels, I feel. So suddenly I wasn't at work anymore. I was at home day in and day out looking for jobs that I knew wouldn't hire me. There was a lot of change going on. Not having a job can really take the spirit out of a person. And it was my experience with my partner that whenever he was unemployed, I mean, it's not like it was often, but whenever there were financial troubles, he was very, for my medical professionals, you'll understand this. When the blood, when something is going on in your body will instantly get your heart to pump to the main part of your body, which is the middle. And your limbs will start getting necrosis and they will start dying because your extremities just aren't as important. That's kind of where we were at. It was like, okay, we've got to focus on the absolute core before anything else. As time went on, my things were getting harder, money was getting tighter. And then I was finding out that I was having the same problem with Daxius that I was with Adriana. Now, mind you, something I completely forgot to say, I had foregone prenatal care because I didn't have valid insurance. So at that point, I hadn't seen a doctor in months. Okay, months. Maybe after that first bleeding episode was the last time that I saw a doctor. I didn't have one. I was trying to get a midwife because now with the pandemic happening, I was like, there's absolutely no way I'm giving birth in a hospital. You're only allowed one person. I don't know the schematics. You have to wear a mask. And anybody who's giving birth knows that you don't even want to wear the damn gown when you're giving birth. So it was a lot. And we made the decision. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give birth at home. I gave birth naturally in a hospital. I can do the same thing at home. Found a midwife very late in my pregnancy. Towards the end, I was maybe about 33 weeks. And after doing a sonogram, he wasn't growing the way that he was supposed to. His level of growth was so just poor. And I was borderline with those fluid levels, bro. Borderline. So at some point, it was like, okay, we need to discuss an induction. And when the time came, she was just like, he's safe to be born. I think we should move forward with it. She gave me, the little midwives brew thing to try out. It didn't work for me. But sure enough, the day on my partner's birthday, I started experiencing some labor pains. The very next night, my water broke at like 6 p.m. I had never had my water break before naturally. So I was like, I think my water broke, but I'm not really sure. It almost just felt like somebody snapped the rubber band on my belly and then it just, I felt wet. I was like, what the hell? I am 37.6 right now, or 37.5. I was like, okay, this is kind of early. I'm a little scared because I know he's small. Insert here the longest 24 goddamn hours of my life. Okay, I was in the tub like a beached whale. I had a TENS unit on my back, absolutely natural. And this time I was not passing out. I went through all of this 100% here, just available. And at the end of it all, I pushed so hard that I had cervical prolapse. Okay, the shit was a nightmare. It was horrendous. And I felt like he was never coming. And then when he was born, he was just this tiny little frail loaf of bread with a face that I had ever seen. Instantly, I was unhappy. Not because my son was here, but because I I felt like I had just gone through something so traumatic, and I didn't feel relieved. I didn't feel how I thought I would after I gave birth, squatting in my kitchen like a farm animal. I didn't feel this